So while you're completing this packet, what I want you to do is think back to the different shapes, faces, edges, vertices, conversations we had last week. And at first, what you're going to do is just what we did. We're going to do the name and the shape. So this one is a cone. You're going to talk about the number of faces. So for a cone, all right, we have the bottom and then the sides, which remember, if we make a net, will give us 1. So we'd have 2 faces total, okay, if you count the circle on the bottom and then the sides when you lay them out. For the number of edges, we can consider the edge of the circle, but remember the sides don't have any. Even though it looks like these are edges, remember in a 3-dimensional cone, it's smooth. There are no edges there, so there's only 1. And then for vertices, we have 1, right, the one at the top. The next shape is a cylinder. For the number of faces, we're going to have 3. The 2 circles that are the bases, and then the rectangle that forms the sides. For edges, we have 2, right, the edges of the circle. For both cones and cylinders, sometimes people don't consider the base a face, so it could be 2 or 1. And then for edges, they don't always consider that spot an edge because they're not straight. So sometimes you'll see, right, none. There are no edges. And then same thing with the vertices. Because there are no edges, they don't always count this. So they might say 0. So you'll see both of those. Same thing with cylinders. For them, they might not consider the side a face until it's flattened out. So they might say there's only 2. And then for edges, they might consider there to be none because it is a circle. So they might say 0. And then vertices for a cylinder, there are none, right? There are no points anywhere. This last shape is, of course, a sphere. And for a sphere, you could say that there's 1 face, right, the whole thing, or none, because remember we talked about faces in a 3-dimensional object being polygons, and there are none in a sphere. There are no edges, and there are no vertices in a sphere. What you're going to do now is I want you to complete sheet 4, where you're going to again name the shapes, count the edges, count the faces, count the vertices, and put them here. On sheet number 5, same thing, name how many faces, how many edges, how many vertices. The nice thing about this one is there is a key at the bottom with names of the different shapes. So you can also use those on the previous page if it helps you. The last 2 are a little bit different. Here what we're going to do is we're going to find the correct shape from the 3 different possibilities. So if everyone looks at sheet 6 right now, you're going to see in this first one, there's 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. So if we look at these options here, okay, the option that would match would be the cube, right? A cone does not have that many faces, edges, or vertices. Same thing with a cylinder. For the next one, we have 5 faces, 9 edges, and 6 vertices. So here we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vertices. However, we don't have 5 faces because we would have more. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 faces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 edges, and 6 vertices. So this one will work. This one only has 6 edges and 4 vertices, and only 4 faces. So this one does not work, right? So these didn't work. Question number 3 here has 5 faces, 8 edges, and 5 vertices. So we know the sphere is out, right? Like that doesn't have any. So now we're looking at the square pyramid or the rectangular prism. If I want 5 faces, I can see in the rectangular prism, I have more than 5 faces. So that one is out. So now I'm going to check my square pyramid. So there would be 5 faces, 1 for each of the sides and then the base. For edges, the 4 on the bottom and the 4 on the sides, and 5 vertices. Here I'm only looking for 4 faces, 6 edges, and 4 vertices. So my pentagonal prism has too many faces. Triangular pyramid has 4 faces, 6 edges, and 4 vertices. And a cylinder, right, does not have any of those. The last one has 7 faces, 15 edges, and 10 vertices. So this was the cube. Cube had did not have 7 faces, right, because it had 12 faces. The square pyramid we already found, right, only had 5. So now let's check. This is our pentagonal prism. It has 1, 2, and then the 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a face for each side of the prism, and then 1 for the top and 1 for the bottom. Edges, there will be 15, 5 on the top, 5 on the bottom, 5 on the side, 10 vertices, 5 on the top, 5 on the bottom. All right, and then you're going to find the names. So we did not find a cylinder. We did find a square pyramid. We did choose a triangular pyramid. We chose a cube. We did not choose a sphere. We did pick a triangular prism. We did not pick a cone, and we did not pick a cuboid. So now you're going to do the same thing on sheet number 7. And then when you're done, turn your packet into your geometry turn-in folder.